Hey everybody and welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm looking at Firenze, which is a tower building game. It's a Euro style game for 2 to 4 players. Takes about 60 to 90 minutes to play. The idea of the game is that we're all kind of like architects trying to collect these bricks and trade these bricks in to build towers. Now the cool thing about these bricks is they all have kind of a different rarity, and obviously the bricks or the towers that use the rarer bricks are worth more points, and obviously the more common bricks are worth less points, but they're obviously easier to come by. Now this game is by Andreas Steading, who's really he's kind of come into his element. He's kind of getting quite renowned now because he's come up with some very, very popular games, Euro style games that is, such as Hansa Teutonica, which is more of an abstract style game. I've never played it myself, but it does look really, really good. And also more recently Gugong, which has been a huge Kickstarter hit and has done very, very well. Another Euro kind of worker placement style game. But this game is very, very unique because it just has a very different feel to any other kind of game out there, and it's very unique to my collection too. So spoiler alert, this is kept to my collection. I really, really like the game. But what I really do like about the game is the kind of core mechanism. And that is because the way you collect these bricks are basically they're placed on these cards on a card row, and you have to kind of take them from the left-hand side. But all those cards have different kind of abilities and powers and kind of endgame points on them. And those endgame points could be positive or negative. But the cool thing is, if you don't want to take that card and bricks, you can go further along the card row by placing one of your bricks on each one to take the cards higher up. So you're making the lower bricks or the lower cards a lot more lucrative to take, because obviously you're getting more and more bricks, which obviously lets you make more and more towers. It's a very cool mechanism. It's one of my favorite kind of ideas or ideology in games where you have to weigh up the pros and cons of doing something, because this card might have like -2 points by the end of the game, which is obviously not good at all. But that's completely counteracted by the amount of bricks you're going to get, and it's going to kind of pay for itself. It's very, very cool. And there's also this other kind of push and pull mechanism, because the way you build your towers, if you want to build more, more at one stage, you have to kind of throw bricks away, kind of discard them in order to build your towers. And that's another reason why having more bricks can be more lucrative, because you want to get more done quicker, because the end of the game is triggered by who places all their kind of their scrolls, or what they call, I don't know what they're called, commissions, I should say, all their commissions the fastest, because that, as I said, that's going to trigger the end of the game, and it's going to trigger the final round of the game. So being quick is a huge benefit in this game, and again, that is prompted by having more bricks. It's a really streamlined game, really broken down into very, very nice digestible chunks. As I said, you're just going to pick your card. You're going to choose to switch one brick for 3 bricks, or sorry, 3 bricks for 1 brick of any color on the card row, which can be very, very sensible if you're trading in your very common white bricks for a very rare purple brick. And then a very cool twist is any tower, which before this, you're going to build your towers, spending any surplus. And then any tower that you didn't add to this round that you've previously built gets torn down halfway. And that is so, so important, and it adds such a huge tension to the game, because you cannot afford to keep kind of, tearing towers down and building them up again. So you have to keep adding to that tower every round. And sometimes just doing the slow burn, just doing 1 layer at a time, is a lot more kind of a better idea than just doing a bunch at once, because you can run dry of bricks and have to tear the whole thing down. So a really great idea. I really, really like it a lot. Decisions in this game is really good, because you've got to try, are you going to go for the kind of lots of small different little towers, or are you going to go for these big chunks? There's also this very cool strategy you can do by kind of building towers in a certain order. So the green might want like a layer 2, then a blue might want like a layer 3, and then another color might want a layer 4. And doing them in order gets you more points, but you can't do the higher ones until you've done the lower ones. So it's just a different thing you can consider. But the variety of the cards as well is so, so interesting, where all the flavor of the game comes from, because as I said, it could be end game scoring. It can be like a public kind of objective. So it could be like the first person to build this gets more points, or permanent powers such as increasing the bricks you can keep, or making your building cheaper and stuff like that. It's so, so clever. I really, really just love the card play or the use or variety of the cards, and just when you want to take it and what you're willing to pay to take those more powerful cards. Some of the cards are very, very nasty to other players, so bear that in mind if you're kind of more of a Care Bear player. I personally am a very Care Bear player. I don't like hurting other players, and I don't like other players hurting me. But in this game, you kind of, I don't know, it just works. It's hard to explain, but it just kind of fits the game, and it just has that little bit of nastiness, that little bit of spiciness to it, but it does fit the game well, and it doesn't feel like it's kind of thrown in there just to force a bit of player interaction, if that makes sense. It's a great game. The balance is fantastic. It plays in a great amount of time. As I said, the core mechanisms are brilliant, just so simple, but so engaging and deep as well. Uptime, no issue at all. Yeah, you go kind of through the whole list of phases yourself, and then it goes to the next player rather than going one at a time. But once you've got the system down, it goes so quickly, and so I've got no real complaints there at all. The only thing that is a little bit of a pain is obviously every time you take a card, you have to put a new card on and put 4 new bricks on it, which no real issue. I'm being picky, but it's something that you do have to keep going for upkeep. Yeah, interaction-wise, as I said, it's a little bit nasty, but no real issues there. Overall, it's kind of that more kind of race feel. Who's going to claim these different layers first? Because you could be saving up for something, and then someone just jumps in there, and then you are stuck because if that's at the highest level, you can't actually build down. So you're going to actually have to tear your tower halfway down in order to carry on building that color. But yeah, it's really, really good. Aesthetically, I love the kind of visual element of it, because you actually do physically build the towers before you commission them. And when you got like a tower of 8 bricks, it just looks cool. You've got your own little kind of construction yard where you've got all your different towers going. It's just really, really nice to look at. The bricks are really, really nice, like wooden pieces. The board is very, very nice looking, has that real kind of classical feel to it, but that Michael Menzel art is stunning. It is like real kind of masterpiece quality. It is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and the card art as well is really nice, if you don't mind this kind of Euro dry style, but I really like it. So something to bear in mind if you want a bit more kind of a modern theme to it, but this game is a real kind of classic Euro feel to it. The theme, I really like the theme. I just like the idea of kind of building towers. I kind of like that kind of linear ideal of thinking. But yeah, it's relatively themeless in kind of the way it plays, but the cards all do make sense in what they do. You know, your architects and stuff, the cards you can get can help you build a level higher or a level lower than what would you normally get. So the powers are quite thematic, such as having bigger warehouses and stuff like that. So, you know, it does make sense. It's all very tangible. So no complaints there for a Euro at all. So it's very, very well done, very well implemented. And the setup and teardown time is no issue at all either. So yeah, overall, this game is very, very unique. I absolutely adore it. It was quite hard to come by over the last few years, but it's recently had a reprint, so it's definitely obtainable now. Definitely want to check out, because as I said, it feels so different than anything else. If you like that kind of that structure of just building something, claiming these different towers, variable different strategies, whether you're going to go for the big ones, the small ones, and so on. Lots of variety in the cards, so you're going to get a different feel of the game every time. I will say some of the cards are kind of no-brainers. You kind of have to get them, such as the warehouses and stuff like that. But, you know, because the cards are kind of all shuffled into one deck, and it's not like a layered deck, you know, you do want to get those warehouses as soon as possible. So, you know, you might be wanting to pay a bit more in order to snap it up quickly, which is really good. So yeah, I really, really like this game. It is a fantastic experience, one that's definitely sticking in my collection, and I can just see it staying there for the foreseeable, because it is absolutely, has this real kind of classic feel to it, and it's just almost timeless, you know. So yeah, really adore this game. A fantastic one if you're into your Euros. So that concludes my thoughts on Firenze by Andreas Steading. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe to my channel too, and check out my other videos. So everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.